each one of the different products we have on the shelf at the dispensary, I look at it as a different collection of keys, and each one of our bodies as a different collection of locks.
Right.
You know,
That's a good analogy.
This collection of keys is going to unlock some in Mike Butler that's not unlocked in Chris Kohan and not unlocked in Mike Flick, and that's why some things seem to work better for some people and than others.
Welcome to Healing Hearts, a podcast created by the Healing Center, voted Pittsburgh's best dispensary.
Again, welcome everyone to the Healing Hearts podcast from the Center for Media Innovation here at Point Park University in downtown Pittsburgh. I'm the host of the Healing Hearts podcast, Mike Flick. We also have on our panel today co-founder and CEO of the Healing Center, Chris Kohan, and our general manager and lead pharmacist, Mike Butler. And we're talking to a lot of our grower processors. We've talked to some already. And one of the things that always comes up in every conversation we've had so far, and this is where it's all evolving too, and we've learned that, cannabinoids, terpenes.
Yeah.
I always explain to patients as, they're the parts of the plant that give them the essential oils, or they are the essential oils of the plant to give them the smell and flavor profile, and they add to the entourage effect. Mike, I feel like you, the pharmacist, have a much more detailed definition than I would.
Yeah, we're talking about lots of individual molecules that work together synergistically to produce an overall effect. It's kind of like Marinol, dronabinol, which is a THC-only formulation that's FDA approved. Really has it's a mixed bag of results, whereas you get a much, much higher rate of positive impact, especially on people's quality of life and overall health, when you have all of the cannabinoids and the terpenes in there, and you have what we call the entourage effect.
All the parts of the team working together.
And when you learn those things, you can balance them in your life, because as we all know, terpenes don't just come across in the cannabis plant. They're in all plants.
Yeah, eat a salad.
Right. So, well, and you got aromatherapies and all those things. They're all based upon that.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why you feel good from certain scents. And a lot of that comes out in our cannabinoid and terpene things that we talk about with our grower processors.
And these are things that aren't really studied in standard medicine.
Well, we know. I mean, when I first started working on this industry, there was 50-something cannabinoids that were known in the cannabis plant. Yeah, and now we're over 150.
Yeah, a little bit more now.
So, I mean, that's less than 10 years. So, I mean, that shows you the need for research on cannabis, and by all means, terpenes and cannabinoids are at the center of it.
Also points out one of the real challenges to researching this plant is because in standard medicine, we're always used to, we want to identify one molecule. We want to know what tissue type does it affect, what receptors does it bind to, what are the downstream effects, and can we put this into a pill form and get a positive versus negative result? One molecule at a time.
Right.
We simply, you cannot pigeonhole marijuana into.
No, we've learned too much that them
profile.
Working together.
Absolutely.
That entourage effect.
Yeah,
that's huge.
That is the magic.
And I always talk about it as each one of the different products we have on the shelf at the dispensary, I look at it as a different collection of keys, and each one of our bodies as a different collection of locks.
Right.
That's a good analogy.
This collection of keys is going to unlock some in Mike Butler that's not unlocked in Chris Kohan and not unlocked in Mike Flick, and that's why some things seem to work better for some people and than others. It's
well,
very
people can get totally different reactions to the same medicine, obviously.
Yeah, very much.
So that describes that perfectly.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll hear a lot more about that with our grower processors today.
Yeah,
so
very exciting.
Let's get into it.
All right.
Hi, this is Mike Flick. This is Jay Richards.
Hi, this is Chris Kohan, and we'd like to take this time to thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to the Healing Hearts podcast.
Welcome back once again to the Healing Hearts podcast from the Center for Media Innovation at Point Park University. I'm the host of the Healing Hearts podcast, Mike Flick. Joining us today in the studio, co-founder and CEO at the Healing Center, Chris Kohan, as well as our general manager and lead pharmacist, Mike Butler, and on the phone, Eric Miller from Vireo Healthcare. And Eric, you guys have been on. Were you in the program from the beginning as soon as it launched? In the state?
Yeah, we were a phase 1 grower processor licensee.
And what are some of the challenges that you guys really ran into? Because this program's only 2 years old. What were those first really big obstacles that you hit?
Yeah, I mean, I think for every grower processor, just getting up and running is a huge obstacle in and of itself. A lot of the companies were retrofitting old factories, And these are really high-tech facilities, so there's a lot that needs to go into them. You need to make sure, all your cracks are sealed and everything is up to par to get things running. One of the struggles that I think we're really facing right now with this big flower shortage in Pennsylvania is that when we originally constructed our facility, there was no flower in the program.
We've heard that quite a bit.
Yeah. You're not alone.
So when we were designing those rooms, we obviously didn't have the flower room specifications that the DOH were going to end up wanting down the road. So a large portion of our grow rooms right now, we cannot actually take that flower and put it towards finished flower. We have to designate it to processing.
Well, we're glad you guys got up and running, because a little background on you guys. You guys are the real office. You're out in Scranton, PA. And more importantly than that, you guys are physician founded, which I know Mike Butler, our lead pharmacist and general manager here, I know that's always been one of your favorite things about them, is that they're, that they're physician founded. What about that makes you guys do what you do? Because that's got to be an enormous part of what makes Vireo tick out there, Eric.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we are coming to cannabis medicine, as coming from, a medicine point of view. I hate to bring pharma into it, but we're trying to have that pharma consistency type of field in an area where you're working with a plant, and there are variables that happen throughout that plant's growth cycle and the final phytochemicals that it produces. So there are some challenges in creating a consistent cannabis medicine. One of the things that I think really sets us apart from this approach is with our products and the way we operate, we don't necessarily do what's most popular, what's most trendy.
Right.
Right now, you're not going to find any live concentrates from us, any sugars, sauces, or anything like that. Even with our vaporizer cartridges, we use non-cannabis, still plant-derived terpenes, which isn't, the most common concept amongst a lot of cannabis consumers. But we're looking at it from the scientific angle.
Sure.
These are the same exact molecules that would be found in a cannabis plant. They're not synthetic. They're not, lab test tube created or anything like that.
They're still
it's
real,
just a little bit of a different approach.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we talked about that a little earlier, that people don't understand that the terpene that's in cannabis is the same terpene that's in a lemon plant, like we said.
Yeah,
Limonene that's in a cannabis plant is the same that's in a lemon tree.
Same molecule.
Yeah.
The way we always explain it to the patient is, the reason the blueberry space cake is called blueberries because it shares those terpenes with actual blueberries.
Yeah.
They're absolutely in everything. So that definitely points us in a direction of why you guys are doing it. Tell us about the products that you have and why you have them. It seems like pretty much everything that comes out of you guys has at least some amount of CBD in it, the part of the plant that's best known for pain, inflammation, and anxiety. Is that intentional by you folks?
Yes. The two most researched cannabinoids right now are THC and CBD.
Right.
I would argue to say they are the most researched phytochemicals of the cannabis plant. There is more research coming out on other minor cannabinoids and terpenes, but if you look at the work of literature and research out there, it is mostly based on those two at this point. We also do very much believe in the entourage effect, where these cannabinoids working together will create an overall better therapeutic experience for the patient, especially things with high THC. Believe it or not, there are some potential side effects, such as anxiety and paranoia, and adding even just small amounts of CBD to our formulations helps to mitigate those and then also bring the therapeutic effects of both of those compounds.
So more than anything else, to that physician founded, you guys are very medically focused.
Absolutely.
It really comes out in your products too. I mean, if I can just jump in here and say the one thing that I really admire the most about this company is consistency of dose. So I've seen this early on. A number of grower processors, they'll formulate capsules, say, and they formulate their capsules, they send it out for testing. And the testing comes back and it says, okay, you've got this many milligrams of THC, this many milligrams of CBD, and then on down the minor cannabinoids and the terpenes. What we see from Vireo is completely different. They target, this is what we're going to have. We're going to have 5 milligrams within, a 0.0 so many milligrams of air. Very similar to what you would have if you're myelin and you're making a hydrochlorothiazide tablet. You have very specific parameters that tablet has to come into. And Vireo holds themselves to a standard that is much more in line with what you have in standardized medicine. So when you take one of their products, the next time you come and pick that up, you're getting the same thing. The milligrams is not going to vary by 10%, 20%, 30%.
That's that pharmaceutical consistency we were mentioning.
Exactly. They have a level of pharmaceutical consistency that they brought to this industry that I have seen from really no other source, not to this level.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I admire that. I really do.
And that touch of CBD, especially for those maybe not the most experienced, could be the difference maker between you having a therapeutic experience and you possibly having a negative experience.
Well, if you have a positive experience, you want to repeat it. And the easiest way to repeat it is to make sure that capsule or whatever you have is exactly what you had the last time.
Yep.
Right? So
Absolutely.
And to your point, if it's not, if going from formulation to formulation, if it changes, then it could change for the patient.
Right. And it throws a lot more variables into each individual's patient's journey to find what is right for them.
Absolutely.
So you guys help that out a lot.
I think where Vireo Health really shines and the product that really exemplifies this best is our vaporizer cartridge. Because typically with a lot of other producers out there, you might find the same strain of cartridge. But basically, the characteristics of that cartridge are going to vary from harvest to harvest, crop to crop.
Significantly,
where we're actually, going in and we're formulating the exact cannabinoid ratios that we want. We're also formulating for a targeted potency, so one time you're not getting, a 65% cart, the next time it's 75%. And you're like, whoa, what just happened? And then we're also formulating the amount of terpenes that go in there. So every single component of these cartridges are formulated to have that consistency. So when a patient gets the red Jack Rare cartridge this week and they go back and get it next month, it's going to be the same thing. Next year, same thing.
So I can only imagine that adds steps to your process and cost.
Yep. So there are multiple post-refinement steps for that. We run CO2 off the bat, winterize, and then we have to go through distillation. And then, after distillation, we have our different distillate oils that we have to formulate to those specific ratios, to that potency, and then get the terpene infusion in there as well.
With that being said, how does that extend into 2020? What's coming up from Vireo Healthcare, Eric?
So we've really ramped up our soft gel production recently, which is a really cool, new, innovative product to the market. It's in the capsule category, but it is actually a soft gel. It's a vegan gelatin with our oral solution encapsulated in there.
So chewable,
so we brought those out in, you can actually chew them.
Chewable, I thought so.
They are literally soft. So we are going to expand into that line. Right now, we have a 5 milligram version. I know we're looking to bring on a 25 milligram version. Also looking to bring in some additional extra strength oral solutions. And there's a few other products that I can't quite talk about yet. Not everything is one thing that some may not realize about Vireo is we also have another brand under the Vireo umbrella, which is called 1937.
Right.
We have some exciting products hopefully coming out the pipeline for that.
Can you tell us about any of those?
Solventless. That's what we're going for.
Okay.
Right. That is very exciting.
we do have a lot of people inquire about that solventless extraction technology.
Yes.
Yeah. Being led by physicians, they want to do everything, as cleanly as possible. And if Vireo is going to bring concentrates to the game, I think, solventless is the only thing that makes sense at this point.
The cleanest way to go.
Yep.
Absolutely. One last thing, Eric, if you're sitting right across from a patient right now on that webcam, what's your message for them? You guys are so focused on them. What's the message for Vireo Healthcare?
Yeah, I mean, the message is that we are delivering consistent medication. If you are looking to use something daily, bi-daily, weekly, whatever your regimen is, you know exactly what to expect each and every time that you use one of our products.
That's phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on the Healing Hearts podcast. And best to you and Vireo Healthcare moving forward in 2020, my friend.
All right. Thank you all.
Thanks a lot,
Eric.
Eric.
Thanks so much. Take care, buddy.
Hi, I'm Michael Butler, lead pharmacist, general manager with the Healing Center.
Hi, I'm Jill Zimbicki, pharmacist at the Healing Center. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening to our Healing Hearts podcast.
Welcome back to the Healing Hearts podcast from the Center for Media Innovation at Point Park University. My name is Mike Flick, host of the Healing Hearts podcast. We're also joined by our co-founder at the Healing Center and CEO, Chris Kohan, and our general manager and lead pharmacist, Mike Butler. And also joining us right now, Marisa Liuzzi from Ilera Healthcare. Marisa, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic.
Very well.
You've been in PA since the beginning of the program. You were mentioned in the white paper as the brand most liked by patients in the state of PA, I believe, recently.
Yeah.
That's a
we
big
are
deal.
a very likable brand. I don't want to attribute it to myself, but
Where did Ilera Healthcare start?
this is our first time at the rodeo in Pennsylvania. So this is our first go at it with Greg Rocklin really at the helm of starting the organization. Since this 2 years has been, a lot has happened.
Yeah.
The cannabis business, I like to say, is like dog years. So we've already grown and we've been bought out by another company. So much has happened since we started. But yeah, this is our first go of it.
Wow. What those first 2 years, like you said, I know they were exciting on our side of it and the dispensary side. I'm sure you faced challenges as well. What caught you off guard in those first couple of years there?
Hi, almost everything. Almost everything. I think Chris could attest to this. Just everything was chaotic. Getting product out. I think for the first go around, it was really labeling product to get it out on the shelves. We didn't realize what things could go wrong. Like our labeler broke in the middle of trying to get out our first harvest, first order for our dispensary. So we were literally all hands on deck all night, putting labels on products ourselves. Oof. To just be like, we got to get this out. And it was a lot of that.
We know all about that.
Yeah. Then we had little things on our hardware. There was a learning curve on that, and teaching the patients about our brand. It was all a struggle, but we come such a long way from then. It just seems like such a long time ago.
Well, I
was
think
our
you
biggest.
guys originally, you were all greenhouse too, and now you're transforming as well, right?
Yeah, we were hybrid greenhouse.
Yeah.
We were the only one besides Standard Farms, I believe, in the state who was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a challenge because our grower, he grew previously in Colorado and Puerto Rico, very different environments from Pennsylvania. And Pennsylvania is a very unique environment to grow in. So a lot, having a hybrid greenhouse, a lot of it is kind of like an outdoor grow in the sense that you can control so much, but you can't control a lot of other things. So now we've doubled our grow, 47,000 square feet to an indoor only grow. So no more hybrid greenhouse at all. So we should see a little more stability, and it's a double stack too.
Doing a little expansion out there in Waterfall, PA, huh?
Yes. Well, the demand is very high.
So you guys have a huge library of genetics, over 170, right?
Yes. Yeah. I think it's closer to 300 in our total library, but we've really only, propagated or popped the seeds of about 170 of those. So
tell us about, in a general sense, some of the products from all those seeds that you've popped that you guys have on the shelf now and why they're important to you.
Totally. So we use all of our library of products to pull cannabinoids and pull the terpenes from each of our plants so that we kind of have our spice cabinet to create specific formulations to help patients address specific type of symptoms. So that's really our big thing. We focus on the patients and making their quality of life better by using our whole library and using that breadth of terps and cannabinoids that we have access to.
Right.
And then the benefit too is we have those strains that we can pick from and keep them strain specific. So both of those things have been really strong for Ilera. I would say our strains right now are most popular and patients understand that the most. So I really go out there and try to educate on formulated medicine as well from that library of strains.
You guys feel like that variety, that huge variety that you guys have, is that really what sets you guys apart? Because there's a lot of great companies making a lot of great products in this state, and you guys are definitely one of them.
I definitely do. I think that's helped us. I've heard that a lot from, feedback from dispensaries. And, I'm sure you guys know we've all called it a drought recently.
Yeah.
But we've been able to sustain that and keep our breadth of a library. So that I've heard has really helped us too. Just having all those different strains every week for our partners. It's exciting.
Marisa, we've talked a lot about your company and why you guys are doing what you do, but this is not an easy industry to get into and definitely work in. Why is this so important to you? What keeps you going every day? I'm sure you run into 1,000 obstacles every day. Why? Why do you keep doing this?
I believe in it. I believe in cannabis as medicine, and I've experienced so much just in the cannabis world that keeps me going. So talking to patients and talking to our dispensary partners like Chris at THC, that just drives me every day. I used to work, it kind of feels like a previous life at this point, but I used to be a federal employee.
Really?
And I was counseling veterans and service members, coming back from battle.
Wow.
And a lot of them were telling me in our meetings and our counseling sessions that they use cannabis. It's the only thing that helps them for A, B, and C. And I got so interested in that and seeing this pattern with my vets and service members that I started looking into it myself, started using it to address symptoms that I had, some, anxiety from just working with veterans and service members, but hearing their stories, you took that on. So,
it's a lot of weight.
Yeah. And it was made lighter by cannabis for sure. I lived in DC for a little while and was able to grow at home. So just loved it even more, the plant and everything that it does. So that's what keeps me going. I just really believe in it. I believe this is a game changer for everyone. If we could, this becomes mainstream.
Yeah, I mean, just seeing what we've all seen, and we've talked about it on this episode and episodes before. You can't tell any of us that this isn't medicine.
No, we'd all fight you.
Yeah. Absolutely. So it sounds like you're still running full steam into 2020 here. You guys aren't slowing down anytime soon. You certainly don't seem like you are. What's going to be happening in 2020? What do we have to look forward to from Ilera Healthcare?
So many exciting things. So we doubled that grow, double stack. So we'll see a lot more flower coming out come April, May. We're just harvesting them now. So the drying and curing process is happening. Then we'll see those coming out, all those new flower strains. We're going to introduce some unique ones from our library, so look out for those, and also a couple new formulated blends we're thinking about throwing out there in the spring and fall. I guess our most recent one was for autism with Hope 1 and Hope 2.
Right.
So we're hoping to extend that with some other ailments and some other communities.
And when you're talking about that, you're talking about products that are pretty much formulated to address one general condition, one of the qualifying conditions that one of our patients coming into the dispensary might be experiencing. So it's a little more targeted than just flower or something else, right?
Totally. Yeah. We try to make it easy too. So, we have a product called Dream that any patient could kind of understand what that might do for them, right? Maybe
great for sleep. Yeah.
Dream. Yeah. So, we try to make it easy for the patients, for the wellness associates at the dispensary, because it's very overwhelming sometimes when you have to pick a strain, and strain names we're discovering doesn't really mean too much.
Right.
I could call something that's sour diesel chocolate chip cookies and no one would know the difference.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you anything about those terpenes in there, those cannabinoids, those things are really making the impact.
That's really
on
the meat of it.
Yeah.
Totally, yes. And that's what I drive for, to educate the terps. And it's not just a THC game, it's a whole wellness practice.
That's phenomenal. So we've been talking about patients, and if you were talking to one right now, if they were sitting on the other side of this webcam from you, what would your message be directly to them about Ilera Healthcare and what you guys do?
We are patient focused, so we're all about the quality of life of our patients and increasing that. The other big word I like to use of Ilera is consistency.
Right.
You know, if you're a patient and you know something works like Shine or Dream or Soothe, you're always going to find Shine, Dream, Soothe, and you don't have to think about finding that specific strain that works for you. My other big piece is being empowered as a patient and learning the terms, learning what works for you, understanding cannabinoids, keeping a journal. It's a really empowering industry if you let it.
That kind of seems like the way, we're going in this field is towards the terpenes and the full cannabinoid profile so much. And that, you're right. The strain, whatever you call something, doesn't mean as much as the individual components that it's made up of. And it's nice that, you've got that kind of consistency. We have a lot of people that start out on those products. And the other thing you brought up is quality of life. And that's really what we have in holistic medicine to measure our success is the quality of life changes that we see in our patients. And to that end, this business has been absolutely amazing. More than just about anything else I've really ever been a part of. And thanks a lot for being such a big part of that. Marisa, you and our relationships with you and partnership with Ilera Healthcare has been a big part of us being able to be in a position to provide that kind of solution for people. So thank you.
Yeah, we have.
Thank you. We're partners. We have
one last thing for you today because we've talked a lot about strains, right, and different.
My favorite question.
Yes. So we told you we'd be asking you a question, yes, and that's if you could be one of your strains, the one you identify most with, I guess. Which one would you be?
Cherry Diesel.
Ooh. No.
Because I'm a little bit sweet and not always sweet.
A little bit sour too.
Nice balance. Cherry and diesel. Yeah.
That's a great answer.
Very good. Very good choice.
Marisa, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today on the Healing Hearts podcast.
We appreciate it very much.
Appreciate you.
Take care.
Thanks a lot, Marisa.
Wrapping up 2 episodes full of grower processors here.
Yeah.
A lot of information.
I thought we had a lot the first time.
Well, just like everything else in this business, you never stop learning. We never stop growing and evolving.
No. And we've only talked to a handful of them so far. Chris, you were just telling me earlier how we've got 22 of 25 approved in the state, and there's 15 delivering product now.
That is correct.
So we might have more coming back on the Healing Hearts podcast in future episodes here.
Hey, we probably will. One thing you got to remember is the more you know you don't know.
Right.
And so with everything that you learn, it generates more questions. So if you're out there listening, you have some questions, feel free, give us a call, stop into the dispensary, sit down with our pharmacist, take the time, pick their brain.
Yeah.
There's so much that we have learned and that we know now that we didn't, and it's a constantly evolving knowledge base.
Right. And that's what we're all here for, to learn and keep learning. And we don't all know everything.
No, certainly not.
No.
And we learn an awful lot every day. We certainly did today.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And our pharmacists are one of our greatest assets at the Healing Center, and they're absolutely there. And if you need information on us, how to contact us, our menu, the products we have available, or anything else, it's all up for you right now, thehealingcenterusa.com. And thank you so much for joining us today on the Healing Hearts podcast.
Thanks, everyone.
Healing Hearts is presented by the Healing Center, voted Pittsburgh's best dispensary. Healing Hearts is recorded at the Center for Media Innovation at Point Park University. More information is available at thehealingcenterusa.com.